I want to talk a little bit about the crime extortion under the color of official right. This is one of the most ancient crimes on the books, and the reason why it's not so well known is because it is the anti-corruption law from over 1,000 years ago. So let's unpack it. If a robber said, "Pay me, or else I will inflict unjust violence," that would be robbery. If a blackmailer said, "Pay me, or else I will call the police," that would be blackmail. If a police officer said, "Pay me in my private capacity, or else I will arrest you," that would be extortion, or extortion under the color of official right. If a judge issued an order to pay them in their private capacity, that would be extortion under the color of official right. But let's explain how we get the word extortion, which means to obtain, and there's no real threat or coercive element. So if a robber said nothing but obtained your payment, knowing it was in exchange for influence in them not inflicting unjust violence, that would still be robbery. If a blackmailer said nothing but obtained your payment, knowing it was in exchange for influence in them not calling the police, that would still be blackmail. If a police officer said nothing but obtained your payment, knowing it was in exchange for influence in him not arresting you, that would still be extortion under the color of official right, or a bribe. If a judge said nothing but issued an order to pay them in their private capacity, or else you'll be held in contempt of court, that would still be extortion. So the coercive element is really just anything that would induce you to do anything, and an official act is very inducive. Now, let's go to the most complicated element, which is the unjustly element. See, in order to commit the crime of extortion, you have to obtain under the color of official right. Under the color is also unjustly, without right. So when you have a robber who's saying, "Pay me or else I'll inflict unjust violence," what he's doing is he's negotiating with someone who doesn't belong to him, unjust violence. And therefore, the robber is committing the crime of robbery rather than doing a right act, a rightful act. A blackmailer is the same thing. See, a blackmailer says, "Pay me or else I will call the police." The blackmailer does not own the police unless he's the king. And therefore, he doesn't have the right to negotiate with the third party, being the police. A police officer is employed by the police department. He doesn't own the police department. And as such, the police officer cannot say to you, "Pay me in my private capacity or else I will arrest you," because he doesn't own the police. He can't sell influence in official acts. Well, what about a judge? A judge who says, "Pay me in my private capacity or else I will hold you in contempt of court," is doing the same thing as a police officer. He's using official acts, the king's acts, for his private benefit. So that would also be extortion under the color of official right. So now you understand, hopefully, that the word extortion means to obtain. Under the color means using a third party power, in the common law case, or the historical case, being the king's power. And official right means with an official act. So let's look at now a situation where a robber said, "Pay Bob or else I will inflict unjust violence." That would still be robbery. If a blackmailer said, "Pay Bob or else I will call the police," that would still be blackmail. If a police officer said, "Pay Bob in his private capacity or else I will arrest you," that would also be extortion under the color of official right. If a judge issued an order to pay Bob or else he will hold you in contempt of court, that too would be the crime of extortion under the Code of Official Right. This is the most ancient crime on the books. So, in order to fix our system, what we need to do is start arresting corruption. Long live the king.